Hello and welcome to the Ending Body Burnout Show. We are your hosts, Chris and Philly, co-founders of a multi-award-winning functional medicine practice, serving busy people with energy, mood, and gut issues.
While busyness, addictive doing, people-pleasing, and perfectionism might be the norm, it's not normal, and it's a major contributor to health issues.
Our goal with this show is to give you a holistic root cause approach to healing your body so that you don't have to continue doctor or diet hopping or popping a gazillion supplements hoping something might stick.
So get ready to heal your body, get your spark back, deeply connect with yourself, and step into the life of your dreams.
Let's dive in. Hello everybody, welcome to this episode of the Ending Body Burnout Show. Philly.
Yes.
We are going to do a little show and tell today, aren't we?
Yeah.
Kind of debrief / explore, bit of Q&A.
Yeah.
Maybe more A rather than Q.
Yep. And anyone who's listening are like, what are we having an explore about, Chris? So it would have been last month I had one of our past clients, Melissa Marsden, on our podcast to share her ending body burnout journey, but also from the overflow of the work that she's done with us and others. She then put on the most beautiful retreat. It was called Exhale. For women in business who want to pause and reset and go inwards. And anyway, I said yes because I'm like, I just love Mel first and foremost. Plus everything that she does is just so beautiful. So I didn't really even know many of the details around what the retreat was about, but I knew that whatever I was about to experience is going to be amazing. So anyway, last month she spoke about the retreat, and last week, or it's probably been a week and a half now at the time of this recording, I went to the retreat. So I thought I would share my experience. Like, first and foremost, I actually find the podcast a really nice way for me to journal. So sometimes when I've gone through stuff and I feel like it might be helpful for you to hear as well, personally for me, it's a beautiful integration of what I've experienced because I have to think a little bit more, what's the word? Like structurally? That's not even necessarily the word, but I'm just bringing everything to the surface to share what I've experienced. So awesome. I feel like this podcast, it's going to be like sitting around a campfire with Chris and I as we share some stories. And hopefully too, it might just open up your awareness, your mind, your unconscious mind, the deeper part of you that wants the best for you. And it might even give you some little gold nuggets to start connecting back with yourself or to connect to yourself in a deeper way as you're listening to the story. Okay, so yeah, I said yes to Mel pretty soon after she started selling tickets. And at that point, I said yes because I'm like, yeah, I want more retreats in my life. I want more experiences. And I really want to support this beautiful woman. And I know that whatever she puts on is going to be amazing. So when I booked in, I didn't really have any like major pain around what I might want to break through in the retreat. But a few months leading up to the retreat, it was interesting how the universe just, is working in your favor. Knowing that I had this retreat booked in, I started feeling some, I call it low-grade apathy. It wasn't like I was in deep despair or depression, but I just felt quite apathetic around a lot of things, like in all areas of my life, if I'm being really honest, business, family, relationships. And it wasn't because on the outside there was anything wrong that was going on. It was more that I had this feeling, I was feeling a bit blah, and I'd been trying to work through it even before the retreat, and I was still really confused around what this apathy was about. And so I went in with an intention, and I think that this, if you're going to take a little learning from this episode, is setting an intention when you embark on a journey is so important. So that might be an intention for a retreat. It might be for a program that you sign up to, like the Ending Body Burnout Method. It might be for a single coaching session. Come in with a question, an intention of trying to move the needle or get more clarity. It might be when you enter a practice, whether it's a meditational practice or a breathwork practice, or, within our program, we hold weekly group workshops. So especially for clients who are listening, I would always come into a transformational space, even if it's for an hour, with an intention, because it really helps you to get clear on what you want to either learn more about. And that might be a pattern that you're playing out. So for me, it was kind of like, what's this emotion that I'm experiencing? What's this apathy? I'm still really confused about it. So I wanted to gain clarity around it. And I also was hopeful that I would get a shift, if not a major breakthrough, so that I came out of the retreat feeling excited and passionate and vibrant about life again. And so having that intention is really important, I think. Otherwise, you can kind of just like move into whether it's a coaching session or a retreat or a program where it's kind of like, oh, well, I don't feel great, so hopefully I feel good at the end of this. But when you can be really clear on the intention, you're seeding that into your unconscious mind. You're planting seeds subconsciously so that your conscious captain, your conscious mind, can help you, knows really where it needs to take you in order to create that deeper shift at a subconscious, unconscious level. Do you have anything to add there? Like in terms of your personal experiences?
With intentions?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that any sort of transformation, especially big transformation, is a fluke if there's no intention, And so if you want something to not be a fluke and you want to bring some certainty to it rather than closing your eyes, got
I hope
some
I
dice
feel
in your
better
hands
soon.
and rolling the dice. Yeah, this sort of stuff. So to me, it screams a little bit victim mentality and
it's almost like fix me experience, fix me practitioner, fix me program, fix me retreat.
Open yourself up to jumping from thing to thing to thing, and never quite allowing the thing that you've immersed yourself into to land and settle in you. Also, when you are intentional, sometimes things don't work out the way you expect or what you want, and that's okay. There's no failure. There's just feedback, And I think without you being intentional, I feel like that frame of feedback can't be received because you haven't been intentional in the first place.
That's such a good thing. It just reminded me when I set the intention, I was holding it both tightly and loosely at the same time. So by holding it tightly, it's like, yep, I'd really love some clarity around this. I'd really love a breakthrough. But then holding it loosely at the same time was just allowing myself to surrender into however long it needs to take for me to be able to break through this apathy. So even when I was setting the intention, I'm like, you know what, even if it's a stepping stone closer to having a breakthrough, I will be happy with that. Even if I leave the retreat and I'm still confused, I know that anything that I wholeheartedly lent into is getting me closer to where I want to be. So thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, I actually really like that because that is a really nice intention to have, because there are things that are outside of our capacity and capability to control. Yeah. We have a limited amount of things to actually literally control. We can influence, sure, but yeah.
Yeah, and that loosely and tightly too. So sometimes people get really fixated on the outcome. So if I was fixated on, I need to have a breakthrough by the end of this retreat, then I'm fixating on the outcome rather than leaning into even enjoying the process of getting there. So that's the holding onto it loosely, is like, yep, like there's some steps in place. I'll lean into it. Whatever happens, happens. But by the way, conscious, unconscious mind, I'm just guiding you towards, this is the thing I want to break through.
It sounds weird.
So it's not like you're not, like you're surrendering all control. You're still seeding where you want to go, but with less perfectionism.
It's victimy.
Less all or nothing thinking.
Yeah, it's the victim mentality. It's have, do, be. If I can have this outcome, then I'll be able to do the thing that I want to, and then I'll be okay.
Yeah,
that's a victim mentality.
Yeah,
and it's found in high performance circles all the time, in sport, in my experience, in military, and in business, personal development, healing, and it just like finds its way in there. And it's not a like, you suck, see, loser. No, it's not like that at all. It's like, hey, just found this growing point for you right here. You're have, do, be again.
Now, in saying that, like, I'll get to some experiences, because I had some experiences where I was engaging in a beautiful practice and I'm like, I'm not feeling anything. So I'm going to come back to that, because this is also like, it's not about perfection. It's really just about maturity and growing and evolution, and noticing if like little patterns are yo-yoing you back, and then returning back to surrendering. Nice. Okay. So a little bit about the retreat. If you didn't hear the first podcast that I did with Mel where she talked about it, but it was up near the Gold Coast. So it was in Tweed Valley, hinterlands, I think that's what it's called.
The Gold Coast hinterlands.
The Gold Coast hinterlands.
It's beautiful. Up in the hills.
So
above.
Beautiful. Like my drive there, I was crying on my drive there. Like I just already knew in my soul that things were already shifting even before I got there, because I'd already been working below the surface on this apathy thing. And just the magnificence of the mountains and the rocks, like it really felt like it was a really spiritual place. No idea what has happened there. But even before I went straight to the retreat, I actually flew up to the Gold Coast a day before, which I'm really grateful that I did that, because it enabled me to have some alone time before going to the retreat and peopling. So that was kind of just like a bit of a grounding, a resetting in and of itself. I spent most of the day at the beach and at my favorite cafe, the Cardamom Pod. If you are in the Gold Coast, you must go there. It's so nice. And then I drove down to Sella Valley, which was the retreat place that it was held in. So it was nestled, little cabins nestled inside small mountains, and there was a beautiful creek running through the valley. Beautiful landscape. There were Highland cows with those big fluffy, what are those, Scotland cows or something?
Is it these ones? Where am I? There I am. Those bad boys.
Yeah. Like the big horns, and there were ducks and chickens and bulls and butterflies and the most stunning dragonflies. It was just so beautiful. And again, I cried. I remember my little cabin was on the top of the hill, and I had to walk down a hill to get to the main pavilion where we did a lot of the activities. And after I got settled into my cabin and I was walking down, I'm just looking at these magnificent small mountains, and I couldn't help but cry. I was just like, I felt really grateful for being there, but I also knew it was a really aligned decision that I'd made. So I thanked my past self for saying yes, even though there were a whole heap of reasons and excuses why I could have said no. So that was lovely. Mel hired in private chefs who used our adrenal diet to craft the most beautiful, nourishing whole foods, and we were just so well fed throughout the whole retreat, which was so lovely, because then my physical body felt very nourished. And then we did a lot of different things. So we did a lot of meditation, we did breath work, we did sound healing, there was free time to walk in nature, there was a lot of journaling. We had a beautiful practitioner coming, a Chinese medicine doctor coming in to talk about cycles and life seasons. There were fire ceremonies, yoga practices. It was just beautiful, and the whole curation of each activity building on top of each other. I spoke to Mel about this later, and I said it really felt like I jumped into a train, and every experience that I experienced over the 4 days led me to the transformation that I had by the end. Can't even explain it logically, rationally, but for me, it just seamlessly took me on the most beautiful journey. So I'm actually going to read some things from my journal, because when I was prepping for this podcast, I'm like, I don't know, there's so much that came off and there's so many like different threads and different tangents that I could go on. So I thought I'd just like go on a tangent. Does that sound good, Chris?
Sounds good.
And actually, I mean, we had a longish conversation on the phone while I was at the retreat. But I feel like since I've been home, we've hardly had any
We
time.
haven't crossed paths. Yeah.
Because you've gone and done your stuff after looking after the kids. And then I've been busy catching up with all our clients one-on-one. And so this is probably the first day that we can actually, like, I can share some other things.
It's been pretty cool. Yeah.
With you.
Like, I won't go too much into it, but like, yeah, my life, we've been, as you said, ships in the night, you know, passing the last couple of weeks.
Yeah. Okay, so we started off, it started off on, what day was it? Thursday night. So we came in the afternoon and we had a beautiful dinner, and it was pretty casual, kind of just like getting to know each other. I feel like the deeper stuff started the next day. So Mel did a really beautiful welcome ceremony where we sat on the grass, we looked towards the creek. She had infusing, Egyptian blue lotus flowers for tea, which apparently, actually, we were all pretty zen. So it's this Egyptian blue lotus flower. If you steep it, I mean, we did a short steep, but you can steep it for up to 12 hours, and it has the most relaxing, calm, even like very mild psychedelic type experiences that you can have with this blue lotus flower. So that was really nice. And then we did some meditation. And what I noticed, or what really touched me in that, was at the end of the welcome ceremony, each one of us ladies came up and stood in front of Mel, and she used the ceremonial smoking stick and kind of like, you know, waved it over our face and above our head, and we breathed it in, and then sprayed us with beautiful botanic mist. And then she placed her hand on my heart. I probably will start crying during this. And I feel like the moment that she did that, something inside of me started cracking open. I know what it is now in hindsight, but in the moment I'm just like, this feels really nice to be touched by another woman on my heart, also a woman that we've been on an 18-month journey with, in terms of me facilitating her healing, and now we've come full circle. So that was really beautiful. And then we sat on our yoga mats in a kind of like a woman's circle. Actually, something really special about near where the retreat was held is that there was a mountain nearby where it was quite a sacred space for the Indigenous culture. And it was sacred because a lot of women's circles occurred there over many, many, like thousands of years. And so I feel like that really added to the energy of us being there together in a circle with a bunch of women sharing some really deep stuff. So Mel asked the question, where am I sacrificing myself to keep the peace? And this was a question for the group. And I really struggled to kind of think of an answer to that question. Like, a lot of other people were, you know, talking about sacrificing themselves for other people, but I'm like, I'm not feeling that. Like, I really don't feel like I'm sacrificing myself, kind of like from a people-pleasing, rescuing, overdoing perspective to keep the peace. But I just sat with the question, and the more I sat with it, I realized, and again, in the moment, I couldn't understand why, but there was a part of me that I was sacrificing to keep the peace in myself. And so that was a really beautiful question, because then this question then filtered out through the whole retreat in terms of what I was experiencing. So I was really trying to get in touch with what's the part of me that I've been sacrificing in order to keep peace within myself. And by peace, it's kind of more around safety. Like, what's the part I've been sacrificing because like, if I let that part of me explode and come to the surface and like come in her full power, there was another part of me that felt like that was going to be really dangerous. Something unsafe was going to happen. Okay, so
What?
what was it?
Yeah, what was it? Tell me, just hanging.
Well, here's the thing. Like, I almost feel like
Stay tuned.
Stay
You'll
tuned.
find out next time.
Stay tuned. Okay, well, in that moment, so what I said is, this is a question to myself. I said, is this apathy keeping me safe? So this emotional apathy I was feeling, keeping me safe from either scaling or from stepping into my next level of queen healing energy. That's kind of where I was at that point. That is not where I ended up, but that was just a question at the time. Okay. And then I was thinking, oh, maybe I'm sacrificing something new, because Chris actually came when I was trying to like verbalize this with the group, and like Mel and the other women were asking me questions. I all of a sudden had a vision of Chris performing on the stage. So Chris is becoming an actor. He is an actor. He is being an actor, and I'm like, oh,
becoming
like,
every day.
Maybe I want to be like Chris. Maybe I'm sacrificing myself to find like a random hobby that, would just like give me more life, give me more energy, give me more excitement. So that's kind of where I started going. And none of these things, by the way, ended up being ended up being wrong, but it was kind of like, these are just the little seeds that I was starting to become consciously aware of. Okay. And so then we had a women's health conversation with Kerry, who is a Chinese medicine practitioner. I really loved, she talked a lot about things that we talk about from a body systems point of view, also holistically looking at the body and mind and the connection. But she had a lot of some different language from a Chinese medicine perspective that really resonated with me. And one was talking about the mind, the heart, and the womb. So as I was thinking about like unpacking this apathy and what am I sacrificing inside of myself, I'm like, yeah, well, I definitely know like I'm very heavy with the mind. The mind often chooses what next, what are we doing now? Even when I'm trying to uncover something deep within me, it's kind of like the mind that comes on first. I'm very data, I'm very science, I'm very what's the next step type brain. And so I realized that my heart and my womb space were being squashed a bit. And so when I started asking, what does my heart want? Well, my heart wanted freedom and spaciousness and fun and play. And from this, I can step into living my higher purpose of light and love and influence, and that can ripple out from who I am. And the womb space was really interesting too, because when I think about the womb, that's like mother energy, feminine energy, but also like groundedness, and there is a toughness to the womb as well. It's kind of like the mother bear comes out, and it is the protective part as well. So there was something in that I was like, ooh, okay, there's some things coming up to the surface.
Yeah, I mean, what is the womb? The womb is a container of creation and growth. You know, it's not the formation of the seed. You know, that would be the ovaries, right? So, but this is the container where the growth happens. So anyway, I think about this all the time, this sort of metaphors.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it's like a creation as well. It's the creative space.
Yeah.
Place.
Yeah, and freedom. I like how you're talking about freedom. Freedom's an interesting concept to study. I just finished reading, what was this book? It was Fahrenheit 451. In all my commutes down to Hobart, I listened to Fahrenheit 451, which is dystopian freedom constricted society. And there's another one where they burned all the books, and another one is called Brave New World by Aldous Huxley. It talks about cloning and other stuff like that. Segue. But anyway, it talks about freedom largely, and you know, if we don't have freedom, we just become animals. This is one of our greatest human blessings. I love it.
Yeah. So again, like if I use that question, what where are you sacrificing yourself in order to keep the peace? I mean, there was definitely a part of that where it's like, well, I'm sacrificing the part of me that wants to like just be free and be on a stage like Chris. And actually one of the things that came up is like, oh my gosh, I think I need to be in a theatre production, like a musical production.
Do you?
Oh, and I need to join a choir. These aren't needs, by the way. These are wants. This is like the heart was like, oh, I want to start singing and dancing and
what do they
performing
give you, right?
just for fun, like not to make money, not to put food on the table. But then the part of me that was squashing that was like, no. You got to be serious. You know, if you do all of that, then you won't be able to have time to put into your business, and the house is gonna like go to poop, and then the kids aren't gonna be fed healthy food. So it was kind of like I was sacrificing the part of me that was just like wanting to sing and dance and come alive. Sometimes people get lost in the point. Hey, like the point isn't the doing of the doings. It's you know, just because you can be free to be on a stage, you can be free to have these options and take the options, or with that same side of that same stick. I don't know if that's right. Anyway, you know, you can choose to not do that, but to have the freedom to accept that you have the freedom to stand on the stage and perform and sing. Yeah,
if
like
you want
I
to.
can choose. I'm the queen. I'm the queen of the castle. I'm an adult now. I get to choose how I live my life.
Go for it. And you.
Thank you, babe.
Like,
do you want to come join the Devonport Choral Society with me?
Yeah, I don't think anybody wants to hear me sing, but
you can act. You don't have to sing.
I can lift things off high shelves. I am one of the best.
Something else that came from the Chinese medicine conversation too was seasons and cycles. So, you know, I know all about the female hormone cycle. But then Kerry was also talking about, well, there's also a 7-year cycle, and, you know, every 7 years we go into this season. So personally for me, I'm almost 42. I'm 42 next year. So I'm actually coming to the end of a 7-year cycle. And usually what happens at the end of a cycle, just like, you know, when you're about to start bleeding in your period, if you are a woman that has a cycle that's still cycling, it's kind of like you're almost this shedding, and it can feel like apathy. It's kind of like things are coming to an end, things are dying off, things can feel a bit blah, but then when the 7-year cycle starts again, it's like new growth, new life, new things. And so that actually gave me a new language as well around the apathy, and also permission to kind of just like be okay with how I had been feeling. It's like, oh, that makes a lot of sense, because there's nothing outside in my external world that has caused me to feel this. I think that this is just a cycle thing. This is something that like I'm coming down and I'm about to be reborn in 2026. Then that night we had a sound healing experience, which was beautiful. But this is where my little brain started, my mind started peaking up. So during this sound healing, I'm like, yeah, this is nice, this is lovely, but like my brain's thinking about like a bunch of other stuff. I'm not being present. Why am I not having a shift or a breakthrough? And that's where what I meant in terms of the intention that I held and just surrendering into whatever unfolds. And this is where a part of me was kind of like, nope, we need the outcome now. We need to break through this apathy now. We thought that this sound healing was going to be like so magical, and by the end of it, I was going to be reborn again. And so throughout this 90 minutes, things didn't really shift. And then the moment that I realized this part of me showing up and kind of like being a bit antsy, I just like lent into the antsiness. I'm kind of like, I just surrendered into it, just allowed it to be there, and then it dissolved and it disappeared because there was no danger anymore. And then right at the end, the lady sung over me. And then she touched, I think it was my feet and my shoulders. But the moment that she physically touched me and sung over me, I burst out crying like a little baby. And the words mother love came to me, and I felt it in my womb space. And I was like, whoa, I don't know how or why this happened, but this is really pivotal. And there's something around this touch and this feeling of mother love that was just like vibrating throughout my whole body that is really important to this thing I had been struggling with. So stay tuned for more. Okay, then the next day we had a breathwork session. We talked about the nervous system. There's like so much I can say about the nervous system, but I don't think I'll include it in this podcast. But the breathwork session was really beautiful. I love a good kind of like rebirthing, holotropic breathwork session. And I relaxed into that really deeply. So it was unlike the healing session, which kind of like I wasn't really feeling much. It's like the moment that I closed my eyes and I started breathing, I was just in bliss. It's like, this is lovely. Whatever happens, happens. It's going to be amazing. But as I was doing the breathwork session, some reoccurring things kept popping up. So it was very tactile, the breathwork session. There were two practitioners that came and like touched us and moved our bodies and like supported our diaphragm and energetically like held space for us physically as well. And every time I got touched, I just started crying again. I'm like, this is so beautiful. And then I'm starting to think, like, have I been starved of touch? Is this what the apathy is about? I just need more physical touch in my life. But then the same words.
I'm up for this.
Then the same words kept coming to my whole body, not just my mind, but like I felt it in my heart and in my womb, and every cell in my body was like mother love.
Oops.
And then probably about halfway through into that breath work, so we did more intensive breathing, and then halfway through we stopped and we just like slowed down our breathing, and it was deep relaxation. And during this deep relaxation, I mean, I've never had psychedelic mushrooms before, but I imagined that this is what it would feel like. So I couldn't even keep my eyes closed anymore because my whole body was vibrating with light and with love and with passion and with excitement, and like my whole system wanted to burst in a really beautiful way that I'm like, I can't keep my eyes closed any longer. And so I opened up my eyes as I continued the breath work, and the white roof was kind of like moving as if I was like on drugs. I know that this is sounding really weird, but I just felt like I was having the most beautiful, spiritual, enlightened experience, and I was lit up by my own happy juice. I was lit up by me. And at the end of the breathwork session, I had like this new insight dropped in, and it's like I've returned back home. Like I've returned back home to me, and it was so beautiful. And it was all like in terms of, I was just like busting to get out of the retreat so I could go live my life, even though there was still a day and a half left. And I didn't want to leave because it was a beautiful experience, but just that overflow of returning back to me, giving my soul that deep mother love and that deep touch. And then it's like, I just want this to ripple out into the world and to my family and to my clients and just like everyone, because this is amazing. And so from that moment, I really felt like I'd broken through the apathy. I'm like, wow, retreat's not even done, and I'm ready to go. I can go home now. My passion is back. And that's when I called Chris. Do you remember having the conversation? I think you even said something. You said, you are
sparkly or glowing.
You're
or something
glowing.
Like that. It was cool. I actually took a screenshot. I've got that photo of that exact time of when you said that. And I was looking at that the other day, actually. It was very, very funny.
Oh, yeah, that's a nice photo. Chris is just pulling it up on his phone now.
It's this one. I don't know if anyone...
Yeah, it's a bit fuzzy.
It's a bit blurry.
Maybe.
Can't see it. Oh, there we go.
Maybe we can add it to socials.
There we go. Look at that blurry photo.
Yeah, that's not working.
How come why is that not working? Oh, there we go. That wasn't a very good example.
Okay. Yeah, and I think I was just like had so many business ideas in terms of like how I can integrate all of this into our ending body burnout method and really like love up and serve up our clients and just connecting back to deep soul and deep intuition. So it was so beautiful. I forgot to mention we had a yoga session that morning and same thing happened. Like I was kind of like just moving through, same thing happened in terms of with the sound healing. I was moving through the actions with my body and, you know, I was like, yeah, this is nice, but I'm not really feeling it. Then laid down on the yoga mat at the end to do Savasana. And the yogi lady Heidi came and touched me again and I burst out crying again. It's like mother love, touch. Oh, my soul, like physically I'm not just being touched, but my soul is being touched.
And we'll be right back after this interval.
Are you being serious? Oh. Chris just smooched me. Okay. So now I mentioned the yoga because we did 2 yoga sessions. So that was the first yoga session I had that same, and this is before the breathwork session. But then the next morning we do yoga again. And this time I was like fully in flow. I was moving through the yogi movements. I did Savasana. Heidi touched me again. And this time it's like, oh, that's nice, but I've already given it to myself before you touched me. And that was a really profound moment because then it's like, I was trying to think, how do I integrate this into real life when I go home? Like, do I need to be booked in for a massage and like a body work session every week? And I don't know, like have sex every day with my husband? Chris is like, yes, please. But then I'm like, well, I mean, I can get lots of hugs from my family.
My doodle will break off.
Oh, shush. I can get lots of hugs from my family, but I think that the important part or the insight for me was giving that deep soul touch to me because I realized, and this was part of the sacrificing self in order to keep the peace, was that, and this is why the apathy was so confusing because other ladies, when I first talked about it, they're like, oh, maybe you just need to delegate more. Maybe you need, like, maybe you don't have enough time. Maybe you're feeling burnt out. And I'm like, I am not feeling burnt out. This apathy is not burnout. I have so much space in my life. Like, I do lovely things for myself. I care for myself. I have regular saunas. I make beautiful food. I go for walks on the beach. I go hiking. I listen to podcasts. I do meditation. I do somatic practices. But what I took away from my experience was, yes, I'd created a lot of space to do that. And I, like, hand on heart, enjoy doing what I do for self-care. But there was a missing piece or I wasn't slowing down enough to create a really deep still point that allowed me to touch my soul or my soul to touch me. And so that's what I've been practicing since being home in terms of that deep soul touch, as well as lots of hugs from my kids. And last night we cuddled. I say last night because, again, there hasn't been a lot of time that we've been together.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was all awesome. And then the rest of the retreat was we shifted a bit more into, like, Mel took us to, okay, so we've had some great insights, we've had some great breakthroughs, but what do you want when you leave this retreat? What are you going to leave behind and what are you going to take with you? And to enter into that, she took us on a 25-year into the future meditation, which is really beautiful. And basically it was just like, bring to your imagination where you'll be in 25 years time, and you look in the mirror and this is what you look like and this is where you're living. And
I just read your first line of that. That's cool. That excites me.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, keep going.
So mine was like, where it took me was I'm living in a white house on a cliff near a beach with Chris and the girls, and their families are visiting, as well as my family coming to visit, and I'm fit and I'm healthy and I'm well, and I'm a spunky 66-year-old. Lots more. Now, what was interesting I was proud in terms of how I had lived my life and the legacy that I had created with my business and with work. But I was retired by then. which was interesting because when we came back to present, it's like, okay, cool. So if this is what's important to you in 25 years' time, now check in with your priorities and how you're spending your time. And so that was a bit of an insight. It's like, okay, I'm going to prioritize more time with my family, less time with work. And when we finished the 25 years from now meditation, we all opened our eyes and we had a little envelope sitting in front of us. And I opened up my envelope and there was a photo inside. And I was a bit kind of confused initially. I'm like, there's little me when I was 6 years old, but she's hugging this old lady. Who is this old lady? And then I realized the old lady was me in 25 years' time. Mel had used AI to create like a 66-year-old version of me. And old me and little me were hugging. And it was the same for all the other women in the circle. And we all burst out crying. It was just like such a beautiful, I don't even know why I felt so emotional about it, but it's like, oh my gosh, that's me and that's little me and I'm here now, present me, and like we're all integrating together. It was so beautiful. And then we did a lot more kind of like journaling around our life and our business and where we want to go and the changes that we want to make. And then at the end of the last night of the retreat, we had a fire ceremony. So we had a fire burning in the fire pit and we threw into the fire the things that we no longer wanted to take with us into the real world. And before that, Mel did an inner child meditation where it's like, is there a part of you that's holding back from throwing this into the fire? And what was really interesting at this point in the retreat was I'm like, nah, there's no part of me that's not ready to let this go. Chuck it in the fire. Woo! It was so good. So they're kind of like the main things that showed up for me. And I think, so it was a beautiful experience. I'd highly recommend. Mel's going to be doing this same or similar retreat again in 2025. So if you're a woman in business, I would definitely check it out. I'll put in the show notes a link to her retreat, and there is a wait list. So you can pop your name down to express your interest. And yeah, I guess I don't know how to really wrap up this conversation, but I think one thing that came out of it was as well, and I've kind of like very quickly suggested this to Chris, was like, I want to create a cool in-person experience for our clients.
So a couple of things have happened since that. You got a text message from your sister. Should we?
Yeah. Let's share it.
Okay. Well, Philly's.
Let's share it, because then if people are like, yes, Chris and Philly, put this on for us. Like, I'm thinking, when I say in person, I mean something that might be just like an easy thing that we could put on straight away would be like a one-day thing, but like a real rich experience where you come in with an intention to get clarity or to have a breakthrough, and by the end of it, you leave changed or one step closer.
We live in a beautiful part of the world, so Tasmania could be a go, but you got a really cool text message from your sister that kind of got the cogs turning in more earnest.
Yeah, and this is more a retreat, so it was like far out. Like, what if we did like a 3, 4, even week-long retreat where basically we take... I don't know if it will be taking everyone through our ending body burnout method from start to end in a really condensed period, or it might even be a different offering. Not sure what that would look like. But anyway, then all the parts of me that are just like, the rational, logical parts, is like, that's going to be really hard. And, would people pay for that? And, it's a big risk. And, we would fork out all this money for accommodation. And what if we only fill 2 of the spots? And then the next day...
Next minute.
I get a text from my sister, and she's like, I have just bought, so she has some investment properties and she's just purchased a new one. She's like, I've just bought the dream beach house in Jervis Bay. So this is in New South Wales, beautiful part of Australia.
We went to our honeymoon there.
Yeah, we did.
We camped.
Oh, okay. It could be really special then, holding a retreat there.
We got sunburnt.
We camped. Oh my gosh. I was such a stingo when we first got married. I'm like, we are not going to pay for a hotel. We're going to go camping on our honeymoon.
We bought a tent and went on our honeymoon.
Okay, anyway. So she has this beautiful beach house. It's quite big as well. So it's essentially two houses on one property right on the beach. Beautiful landscape. Like, I'm looking at the photos, I'm like, and she even said to me, even before I thought about the retreat, she's like, you need to hold a retreat here. Please hold a retreat. I'll help you.
And it could work. It might not work, but just to come back down to earth, like it would be amazing. But it got us thinking about retreats.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think it's just like, I love having an online business because I think that, we can work with anyone in the world. It's also, like, personally for me, I love doing stuff online as a client too, whether it's business or personal development, because it's just like so convenient.
Yeah.
But also there's this beautiful richness of being in the same space physically, energetically with another person or group of people. And my experience of the retreat was like, far out, I'd love to have more of that personally for myself, but also creating that for our community somehow, somewhere, whether it's in Tasmania or Jervis Bay, not sure.
Yeah.
Maybe we can go on a road trip and take the retreat all around Australia.
Tell us what you think, guys. Did you know, so while you're listening to this, I found something cool out in Spotify. If you're listening to this on Spotify, you can leave a comment down below in our episode if you want to. Yeah, tell us what you want.
Yeah, that'd be great. All right. Well, thanks for coming for our fireside chat. Or, cafe chat, whatever location you're currently listening to this, and hopefully you got something out of it. And if you didn't, I enjoyed sharing my experience, at least for myself and Chris.
Dare to dream, be open. The thing that is hitting me about this is you might not do the exact thing that we're talking about, or you might not be up for that, and you might not be up for some of the things you dreamt about, but have the freedom to open your heart and your mind to possibilities. And I think that if you shut down ideas and dreams while you're in the middle of dreaming them, that is a cancer, and it is contagious, and it is awful, and it is really, really, really squashing. It suffocates you. And my invite to you would be to be brave enough to dream. Have these ideas. Don't squash them. Just let them come up. 999 out of 1,000 might not pan out, and you might know it. But open yourself up to allowing to explore them. And you don't have to, just because you think of something doesn't mean you have to do the doing of it. But And
in order to do that, it's creating the space and the time to be still and listen to what your soul wants and your heart wants, and exhaling. Just wanted to end on the word exhale, because that's the retreat was called Exhale.
Love it. All right, team. Thank you very much, team. You're in our team. You guys are our team. All right, thanks for listening, and we will talk to you next time.
Thank you so much for listening. We so appreciate you. If you'd like to give us extra smiles, drop us a review and spread the love by sharing this episode.
You can also rate your own state of burnout and the root cause contributors by taking our Ending Body Burnout Assessment on our website. And if you're interested in learning about our group or one-on-one Ending Body Burnout programs, shoot us a DM via Instagram or Facebook.
Have the best day ever.